Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Thandi Gama. If it's your first time here, then you're welcome. I do hope you stay and hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the TG gang, welcome back fam. So in today's video, I'll be discussing a very interesting topic and I have all my points written down. And it's basically about 10 things that you should stop doing in your 20s. Right now I'm 29. I'm about to hit 30 next year and I'm excited for that. But I've had been thinking, and there are some things that I did in my 20s that I wish I didn't, but I don't regret that at all. Like, I'm grateful because I'm here today. But if I could give you tips, if I could give anyone or younger me tips on what they shouldn't do in their 20s, then these 10 tips would definitely. So let's start with point number 1. Stop picking careers to please your family. I think there's a lot of people who are stuck in careers that they didn't really want to do. Literally just doing this because you thought it would be good enough to make your parents happy. You picked it because this is something you and your family discussed when you were younger. It may not necessarily be what you want right now. So I just think we should stop doing that, because there's a lot of people currently who are changing careers and moving into what they want because now they have the courage when they have their own home and they have their own cars and everything, and feel like they don't need to explain themselves to their parents, when initially you could have done this before. So I think that's like a really, really important tip. Tip number 2, stop people pleasing. I will be honest, like, just from my experience from when I turned 20 till 29, people will come and go out of your life. Like, a lot of people, you will have friends in your early 20s that you're not friends with now. You'll have friends in your middle 20s that you probably still don't have now, and you probably have new friends right now. So stop doing things to please others, because you don't know how long those people are going to stay in your life. And genuinely, I think if you're living life, it should be more about you, because at the end of the day, everyone goes back to their homes and then you're sitting in your bed. Are you truly happy with the decisions that you're making? So I just feel like, I remember in my early 20s, I did a lot of people pleasing because, I just wanted to make sure that, my friends like me, and because I was more of like the quiet person, and sometimes I'd go out when I didn't want to go out because I'm just like, oh, if I don't go out, then I'm not spending time with my friends. When I could have also suggested doing other things that made sense to me and have them join me doing things that I like. So that's one thing that I thought of, and I was like, no, you know what? Back then you really didn't enjoy this. You were just doing this to please your friends, but they're not even your friends anymore, because you got to a point where you realized, this is not me and I can't continue doing this, or like, it's just not my vibe. So we don't gel because there's just certain things that me and you can't relate to. Tip number 3, stop saving things for tomorrow. Stop saving, like putting things off. I feel like there was a time in my career where I was doing so well and I had the means to travel, but I kept on putting it off. I'd just say, oh, let me save that money. Let me invest it. Let me do this. And right now, pandemic, like literally, and we're one of those countries that has so many rules when we want to go to certain places. I can't even visit my family in the UK right now because it's like, oh, you have to quarantine, you have to do this. Like, there's so many things that are restricting travel right now, but I've realized I can't keep doing that to myself. I'll be 30 next year, and I had a whole bucket list of countries that I wanted to go to. And when I asked myself why I didn't, I don't really have a good enough reason, because I had the money. I could have spent it and made more money and still had memories to look back on. But, I was just always worried about, oh, what if I need this money for something bigger in the future or whatever? Let me save it. Let me do this. It's okay sometimes to enjoy certain moments in life. My other tip is stop seeking approval more than you're earning it. What I mean by that is that instead of you waiting for people to pat you on the back, why don't you like spend that energy doing things that actually gets people to pat you on the back? Like, it becomes effortless. Like, literally, if you're doing things that gets you recognized, then you will get the attention that you think you're looking for. Whereas sometimes when you're seeking this attention, you are spending less time actually working on things that will get you recognized. Another important one, I think this is one that I've actually dealt with quite a lot, is stop comparing yourself to everyone else. I feel like sometimes when, even like, let's say being a YouTuber, you look at your content and you wonder, oh my gosh, I don't know if my quality is that great. Like, even if your quality is not great, like your personality might be great. There's certain things that make you you and make you unique. They're the reason why people follow you. So stop comparing yourself to someone else and saying, oh my gosh, she has such a better camera. I don't know if I can do this anymore because I can't produce the same quality as she does. That's not something you should look at and be like, let that hinder your success. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's been instances where I looked at something and I was like, there is no way I could do that. And, I compared myself and I felt like, well, that means what I'm doing is not enough. When actually, whatever I am doing is enough for the amount of people that are following me. They follow me because they believe in me, and whatever they're seeing is good enough for them. And if there's a certain amount of people following you, trust me, you can definitely attract a bigger crowd soon enough. I think this is very important. Stop being busy. I feel like there was a time where we all abused this booked and busy. Oh, I'm booked and busy. Like, you will be booked and busy to the point that you're not doing some of the things that make you happy. Like, you can't keep going booked and busy and everyone else is having the time of their lives. Like, make time to have lunch with your friends. Make time to get to know people. Make time to meet people. Make time to go on dates so you can actually be like, oh, you know what? I also have a partner. Make time to do the things you love. Make time to travel. Like, it shouldn't always be about working, because working will always be there. But what if you become booked and busy to the point that you reach your 50s and you haven't done everything that you want to do? I feel like we need to give this term a break and actually also learn to take a break. I understand, like, we're all stressed and you all want to work, but sometimes, like, just give yourself like that little, break. Stop letting fear and uncertainty get to you. Like, you can be so scared of the fact that, oh, I don't know if there's enough space for me in the industry, or I don't know how well this brand is going to take this pitch if I send it to them. Like, I sent a brand a pitch the other day, and I'm like, literally, it took me the longest time to send it to them because I was so scared, because the people that they're working with are not me, right? Like, when I look at myself and I look at them, I'm like, they're not me. And I'm like, is it going to be good enough? And eventually I was like, you know what? I just need to do this. I can't keep being scared of things that are just, if I get an answer and they say no, that's it. That's the worst thing that could happen. They've said no, and I'll move on. I'll speak to someone else. Eventually somebody will believe into my idea. But we need to push fear aside and start doing the things we want. Start approaching the people you want to work with. Start approaching the companies that you think you're good enough to work for. Like, there is nothing stopping you. Like, I feel like a no shouldn't scare you, especially if you're reading it in private. Like, what more? What more are you scared of? And then another point is stop being cheap. Okay, when I say cheap, I mean like, how like we all have this thing of like, I need to save money. Sometimes, like, spoil yourself a little. You work so hard, and sometimes you're taking care of so many people, and you're making sure your kids have everything, or you're making sure your family has everything. Once in a little while, like, you are the one working and earning that money. Like, spoil yourself a little. Once in a while, if you've really been looking at a designer bag and you don't have one, but you earn enough to just spoil yourself on your birthday, go ahead. Stop spending less money on things because you are afraid that people will look at you and say, oh, she spends too much money. Sometimes just pay a little more for quality. Sometimes walk into that Zara and get yourself a great blazer. Like, just once in a while, do something great that makes you feel good. So don't be cheap with yourself. Like, self-care should be one of those things that you want to literally like bathe in. So take yourself to the spa. Like, don't feel guilty if it's like a really expensive spa and like you've looked at it and you've always wanted to try out one of their treatments, do it. And guys, when you do these things, please will you tag me so I can see you guys living and loving life, because the tip did come from me. So when you eventually do it, I would love to like enjoy the experience with you. Stop expecting life to be fair. Life is not fair. If something happens and you don't get the job, like stop dwelling on that thing. Like go look for another job, like apply for another one. You didn't get it, maybe you missed something. Ask yourself, why didn't you get it? Focus on that. Work on what you need to work on so that the next opportunity that comes by, you definitely don't miss it. Life is not fair. Life is full of winners and losers and people who are willing to go after what they want. So when you're saying life is not fair, it's really not fair. It's just that you are playing on the other side of fear and everyone else is not scared enough to go after what they want, or is not scared enough to work on themselves to make sure they're worthy of what they want. And then my last point, which I think is important, is stop allowing yourself to get comfortable. So like if you feel like you need to move into a different space, don't be scared to pick up your things and go. If you feel like you need to move to a different country, don't be scared to pick up your things and go and start afresh. I know sometimes going to another country means starting from rock bottom, but if that is going to make your life entirely better in 2 years, then go for it. Or if it's just for the experiences, then definitely go for it. Don't get comfortable in your job. Like, look at the other positions that are higher up. Start asking yourself, what do I need to do to get there? I don't plan on being just the junior strategist for another 5 years here. If I apply elsewhere, will they take me for a middle management position? Like things like that. Just don't get comfortable. Like, you know, don't get comfortable in like the place you're staying in. Like look around. Like there's so much that's out there for you. Even if you know you're good at something, don't get comfortable in something you've picked, because now everyone knows you as this person and it's just so difficult for you to switch from being this person to something else. So definitely go for what you want. And I think our 20s are all about having fun. It's all about learning. It's about experiences. It's about, you know, living the moment. You know, you still have that energy. Your body still has that drive. And I don't think we should let them go to waste. So if you are watching this and you're in your early 20s, I want you to live your life to the fullest, okay? That is my advice to you. And yeah, guys, just based on my tips, if you have any comments or any experiences that you would love to share, I would definitely love to hear them down below. And I think that brings us to the end of this video. I really had fun sharing. I feel like these were things that I have experienced in my life, and it was just like so important for me to share. If you guys enjoy this sort of like tips conversational type of video on my channel, then comment down below, because then I'll definitely be coming back with more topics that we can discuss. So till my next video, much love.